Greetings. Today we have a wonderful topic. Topic I love. Topic I've been talking about for years upon years now. That topic is simple. I call it the veto argument. Now, let's break this down. All right. Veto. What is veto? Isn't that thing that the Romans used to do in order to nullify a vote, or nullify a vote, and then this eventually got exported to like things like NATO, world nations. I don't know about NATO, but the world, in the United Nations and the League of Nations and all that stupidity, right? And this, like in current application, like in the UN, the five great powers of the world get to veto anything, and the idea is they can nullify a vote on anything. So if the five great powers of the world do not agree on something all together, or if they disagree but not strongly, so they don't, like, nothing gets to happen. Like, unless they agree, nothing gets to happen, right? And so, like, a great power can spend time just veto, and it just nullifies the vote, and nothing proceeds after. And whatever that was the problem needs to be dealt with before the veto, like the great power, stops exercising its veto, right? So, what an argument is. So I'm not gonna get into that. But once you put the veto argument, which is the title of this video, what is it? Like, what does it mean? A veto argument is an argument that people use to nullify your point without any benefit happening. So, what's the idea? The idea is, think you're saying, okay, let's be easy. Like, you're dealing with a religious person, all right, and you're making the point. Whether it be Muslim, Christian, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, you're dealing with somebody who is religious, and you're coming from any standpoint that, even if it's religious, by the way, just you want to correct his religious thought. What did Jesus say that? Or if you're in the Arabs, but you misunderstood the hadith. If you open the books and whatever, you see the interpretation C is equal to interpretation D, and therefore, like, from the third scroll, this tells us that you're wrong, right? And regardless of whether you did your analysis or not, if you're presenting your point, even if you do it logically, like, okay, I don't know the Muslim take, but logically speaking, somebody would say yes, but he doesn't want to agree with you. He doesn't want to disagree with you. He goes, and at least in the Muslim world, God knows best. Allahu Alam. Or, this is haram. Or this is, like, you're being heretical. So you can't talk anymore. And any benefit that I could have had from discussing this with you, another veto argument that's maybe simpler than this one. This wasn't as simple as I thought. When your father tells you to do something and it doesn't make sense, right? Like, it's something, let's say that a habit that your father did for a long time, but it doesn't make sense, all right, to you. So you tell him, like, this doesn't make sense, and he's like, I'm your dad. You're gonna tell me what makes sense? Just obey, That's a veto argument. If there was any benefit I would have gotten from understanding your reasons, you just nullified it by saying I'm your dad. I heard instructors do it, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, but this doesn't make sense. Wait, I need to understand this. And eventually it's like, I'm the instructor, I'm the guy teaching, I'm the expert on the subject, not you. So shut up and take my word for it, Veto argument, right? And when do people use the veto argument? When they cannot answer the question, or, in my case at least, I'm too lazy to answer the question. But my idea with not answering the question lazily is, like, I tell him, it's going to take a while, take my word for it, you'll understand after you do it, all right? If that doesn't happen, I'll happily redo my explanation. Something like that. But most people, the way they do it, it's like, I'm your dad, shut up, this is haram, shut up, this isn't the true way, you're not following tradition, the ways of our fathers and our grandfathers, all of that. Like, just just throwing stuff. Like, again, God knows. You know, God knows best. Yeah, okay, God knows best, but I'm still asking you. You know, but it's just it's weird. It's a weird thing that people do, and they do all the time. Um, the masters of the veto argument lately is by far the feminists. Like those guys are amazing at the veto argument because they recognize no logical thought to be true. Right? That's their entire thing, which is being logical is a tool of masculinity or whatever. Like being analytical and actually like sitting and thinking about things. Wow, that's very masculine. It supports the patriarchy, right? So they have a bunch of veto arguments, which is, for example, males can't get raped unless they're gay. You know, gay like precedes masculinity. So, whatever. I'm not gonna hurt my head looking for feminist arguments, right? So, they say they're bullshit. They say they're things. Blah 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 blah. Right? And you want to counter their points, and they're like, "No, you're wrong. Why? Because you're mansplaining." Okay. What? You know, that's a veto argument. He just got everybody confused. And unless we address that point, which is the veto argument, unless we do that, we can't proceed further. Just like in the UN, you know, we cannot proceed after the veto is hit. We need to deal with the veto. So, you know, God knows best. Yes, but I'm still asking you. God knows best. Okay? You know, what do you do? It just ruins arguments for me. And people use it on me all the time, which is why I made a term for it, right? So yeah, people in the future, like if you're watching this video, and look for it in others and in yourself, and don't do it. It leads to nothing. Don't do it with your kids. Don't do it with your children. Don't do it with your little ones. Like whatever, like kids. Like don't do it to anybody, even your kids. That's what I'm trying to say. Nobody. Don't do it to your friends. Don't do it to your students, because it just ends up doing nothing. If anything, it makes the person in front of you feel like you're dumb. You know. Oh, he's too dumb to address this point, which is the impression I always get, and the impression people get when I see it happen to them. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the veto argument. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.